You're ready.
Okay, so my name is Tedora Garcia, and I'm going to be talking about prostitution. My proposition is that prostitution should be legalized because it would be beneficial to our society. I have two claims. My first claim is that legalizing prostitution would benefit our society in terms regarding our economy. And the second one is that legalizing prostitution would benefit our society by keeping everyone safe. So for my first claim, which is that it would benefit our economy, is that in America we spend 14.6 billion. We have spent 14.6 billion on prostitution. So clearly it's a big industry and it's one that's not going to go away. Every year 80,000 citizens are arrested for soliciting sex. This is just money that we could be saving just because we're using our tax money to prosecute the prostitutes, and it's just money that we could save. We could also be making money. New York Times reported, and I quote, that brothels pay significant amount of tax to rural counties. So we could be having a great amount of tax revenue. So also not just saving money and making money, but we could be saving time and investing it in a more appropriate way. There was a case on Elliot Spitzer. He was a former New York government. He had a scandal having to do with that said that he was involved in a prostitution ring, and the FBI actually investigated it. They wiretapped 5,000 phone conversations and intercepted 6,000 emails. So these are all tactics that they used on his case. Sorry. And it would be more appropriate for trapping terrorists or anything else, really. So that's for my first claim. For my second claim, it was legalizing prostitution would benefit society by keeping everyone safe. So by everyone, I mean me, you, and the prostitutes. About 6 to 8% of STDs come from prostitution in the United States. So the United Nations Development Program actually reported that criminalization of prostitution increases the spread of HIV. So in the brothels, like in Nevada, it's legal. So the brothels there, when you're having relations with the prostitutes, you actually have to wear condoms, and the prostitutes have to get monthly and weekly checkups. So it's a safety precaution which has worked. So that 6 to 8% would definitely be very much lowered. So also not just that's about us. So pertaining to the prostitutes themselves, the murder rate is actually 204 in every 100,000 prostitutes. So these are lives we could be saving. There was a study in San Francisco. It said that 82% of prostitutes there were actually assaulted, and 68% reported to have been raped. So this happens because it's not regulated. It's the prostitutes are scared to go to authorities. They don't feel safe, and yeah. So this is legalizing prostitution would benefit our society by keeping everyone safe, and it would benefit society in terms regarding our economy. So legalize prostitution.
All right, well, you identify the proposition. It's phrased as a policy claim with a justification that is a factual issue, and you want to focus on the factual issues, which is what you do in the supporting structure. So, you just need to tweak that a little bit. You're not supposed to be advocating a policy. Once you've advocated the policy, you open a can of worms for the response speaker to talk about the potential disadvantages, which has nothing to do with the argument that you're talking about, but really talks about what the consequences of a change would be. That's going to be an issue that I think we'll give a little bit of leeway to the refutation speaker on. You previewed the supporting points, although you rushed through them at the beginning. You do signpost them as you get to them, so it's relatively organized. You've got an example with the Spitzer case, although the amount of time and energy spent on it is not really quantified, except in the sense that you talk about the number of wiretaps that were involved. I believe that there was an extensive investigation, not just of the prostitution element, but other things that were going on with Spitzer. You need to give us kind of a breakdown of that. Without a context, I think we run into a little bit of a problem. There's some good data that doesn't have any sources on it. The amount of money that we spend, the amount of people who are arrested, we got no source citation on that. The STDs, we got no source citation on that. I assume that you've got information, that it came from someplace, but you want to make sure that you cite that in the course of the presentation. On the other hand, you did provide some information from the New York Times and a UN committee that talked about some things, so I thought that was pretty good. The death rates among prostitutes, that's another one of those places where I think we need to have a little bit of a source citation. There's an assumption about all of these that these policies would work, and if there's any reason to believe that they would work, it would be appropriate for you to have maybe a third point that demonstrated that. The closest you come to that is the stuff about the brothels in rural counties in Nevada getting tax dollars. You assert, for example, that there's a lack of STDs in the brothels, that they're not passing those things on, and maybe that is true, but I have no data that supports that. I just have your assertion on that, and that's the kind of stuff that I think you need more follow-up on. All right, thank you.